T.J. Oliver taking his final warm-up pitch, and big task today. Rutland, Brattleboro, post 5 taking on each other at St. Peter's Field in the final game of the doubleheader of the year for Rutland post 31, and they are in a must-win situation. They win today, they make the postseason tournament. They're one of the 4 finalists from the South to go to the Southern tournament. There is a chance for them to finish somewhere between number 2, 3, or 4. Brattleboro basically is almost impossible. Can't lose the number 1 seed. First time the two teams met this year, and a lot of pressure on Rutland to get off to a good start, get the game underway, and get the first game won, not worry about going to the second game doubleheader, needing the win still. The scenario is if Rutland loses both games today, they would have to wait to see what happens between Bennington and Brattleboro tomorrow, because Bennington, if they were to win out, would be tied with Rutland record-wise, but Bennington would own the tiebreaker, because they don't go by head-to-head competition as far as your runs scored against each other anymore. They go by not the run difference, they go by in-league competition. And Bennington defeated Hartford twice this season, and Rutland split with Hartford. That would be the tiebreaker. That'll be a foul ball back. Again, I mentioned T.J. Oliver is the starting pitcher, Ryan Carter is your catcher, and Jordan Emerson at the plate, the first batter up for Brattleboro. Brattleboro coming in with just 2 losses in the league. Rutland coming off that tough loss in 9 innings to Bellows Falls, an 8-7 loss, and probably one of the most tension-filled, gut-wrenching games all season. A game that each team either they seesawed back and forth to the lead, or they ended up tied for long stretches of the ball game, and we now go to a 1-2 count. And Oliver did pitch a little bit yesterday in that Bellows Falls game. Just enough to get him tuned up for today against Brattleboro, and I'll be getting the foul ball out of play. So a good start here for the Brattleboro leadoff batter Emerson, getting a lot of foul balls, making T.J. Oliver work hard. Andrew Kavanaugh's on deck. Scooter Scott bats number 3, and in the cleanup is the DH Nate Boudreau. And it'll be high, and just a full count now as that one sailed up and out of the strike zone. So a 3-2 count to Jordan Emerson. So again, Rutland starting the season off with a win on the road against Chester, and then home game against Brattleboro. And Rodolphe not close to the fence. That's in play. That's a fair ball, and I think he was closer to the fence than he thought. So a gift leadoff double here on a pop fly to left field. And Andrew Kavanaugh up now. And those were the type of plays that hurt Rutland against Bellows Falls, hurt Rutland against Woodstock. To me, if Rutland doesn't make the playoffs, that Woodstock loss would have to be the pivotal point of the season. But again, that was a fly ball. It did slice, but it was catchable, and those were the plays that Rutland was making early in the year, and they haven't been making in the last 4 or 5 ball games. So from the stretch with the runner at second base and nobody out, that'll be a foul ball. Looks like it's going to be out of play. Yeah. And it did rain pretty substantially about an hour and a half before the start of the ball game, and it's forecasted for 60% chance of showers throughout the afternoon. Like I said, this is game 1 of a doubleheader, and it's easy to figure it out for you. Rutland wins, they're in the playoffs. That'll sail outside. So Kavanaugh up, Scooter Scott on deck. I've already mentioned the battery of Oliver and Carter. Quistapace, Zach Quistapace is at first base defensively. Matt Merritt at second, Chad Ryan at short, Mike Sorelli at third. Your left fielders, Aaron Bloomer, Rob Dorian's in center, and Joe Rodolphe is the right fielder. And we'll go to a 2-1 count now. It's a very warm and humid day. But again, a lot of different attitudes in the 2 different dugouts, and as we're getting the lineups from both sides. And now it'll go to a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And if Rutland comes out and plays tight, which I think they are already, they're more prone to making their mistakes. So 1 pitch at a time here, down 3-1 in the count, and that'll be out of play. So we'll have a full count to the second batter in a row. Emerson's at second on that pop fly double, and Kavanaugh, the left fielder, with a 3-2 count. Now, I have no idea who's going to pitch the second half of the ball, or the second half of the doubleheader, but that'll be a walk, so we'll have a double and a walk, and Scooter Scott up now. Yeah, Scott, a very good player. He got him at first base today. He's an excellent pitcher, and he seems like he's been around forever between Brattleboro Union High School and their Legion team. A good baseball savvy. And the outfield will take a few steps back defensively. Basically, though, they're playing them pretty much straight away. So first and second, nobody out. And that is a great pitch. That's a pitcher's pitch right there on that outside corner. And like I said, the DH is Boudreaux. He's on deck. He's batting for the pitcher, Ryan Smith. Oh, yeah, came back. Went outside with the fastball, came back with the breaking ball in the inside corner. Now he's up in the count, 0-2, looking for the first out of the ball game. Brattleboro. In those maroon uniforms out there, and post 31 in there. Very familiar red, white, and blue attire. That's going to be the third base, and bobbled, and they're just going to eat it. Yeah, so not a good start for post 31's defense. Base is loaded on what should actually be 2 outs in this inning. And a base is juice for the DH, Nate Boudreaux. And I don't expect this to be an 8-7, 9-8 type of ball game. I'm looking for something 4-2, 3-2. Yeah, so a big inning here unfolding for Brattleboro. They have nobody down and the base is loaded. Post 31 already with a couple mistakes. The 4 errors and 400 runs against Bells Falls really was their undoing. Popped up, and if that's on the infield, that'd be a big get, and they watch it go over the screen and out of play. So after all that, it'll just become a foul ball strike. And so after Boudreaux, they have Colby Bonnet on deck. He'll be the catcher for Brattleboro when they come out in the bottom half of the first. Right now, they're looking to get the game's first run, and also, like I said, have an opportunity here for a big inning. So 1-1 count, and see, Oliver checked the runner back to second and stayed high. Yeah, it was close, but it seemed to float a little bit and stay high, and it'll be 2 balls, 1 strike. If Boudreaux had to be guessing here, you don't want to go down in the count 3-1. You might be sitting on a fastball. We'll see what Oliver will come back with. Nope. Yep. And yep, I'll call that I believe a foul ball. No, that hurts the fingers, yeah. So that's a tough way to get a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And again, nobody down here in the top half of the first. Base is loaded for Brattleboro post 5. They are already in the tournament, Brattleboro's. You see him still shaking his hand out there. Boudreaux will step back in there, and it'll just be interesting to see what he chooses to throw here. He went fastball out of the strike zone, and that's a smart play by Brattleboro not to go. I'm not saying he wouldn't have made it, but why take yourself out of the opportunity for a big inning here? So, third full count of this inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nowhere to put him on the walk. He would force in a run with the walk. Pitch on the way, and that'll be the game's first run on the walk. And he will get credit for the RBI. So a pop fly that turned into a double, an error at third base, and a couple walks, and Brattleboro with a 1-0 lead, and Colby Bonnet up now, the catcher. More important than that, there's still nobody out here for the post 5 Brattleboro squad. Good pitch and a pop fly. See Rodolfi, Merritt, and it'll be Merritt. Connolly making the grab, and again, he'll run the ball back in. He was about 10 feet out on the outfield grass when the runners weren't able to move up on that, and that is a first out, the big out, as they have Mike Dixon up now with Pete Wagner on deck. So 1 run in, base is still juiced, and the 1 out. And it seems throughout the season, no matter who they were playing, at the best time that post 31 able to find a double play, and they'd love to find a double play here. Great pitch. Don't forget Oliver, he only pitched, I think it was the 2 or 3 batters yesterday. Other than that, he had a week off without pitching, so it might take him an inning or 2 to kind of find him his rhythm. He was a very dominant pitcher throughout the season, and that stayed high on him, and that'll make it a 1-1 count. Oh, and he stumbled off the mound and seems to be having some discomfort. And oh, this would be devastating. And see him flexing his left leg. I don't want to speculate, but he did stumble off the mound, and they're going to have Coach Sorelli come out. I don't think Mike Dorian's here yet. But they'll have Coach Sorelli come out and take a look at his starting pitcher out there. And wow, big turn of events here. Oliver allowed to take some warm-up pitches. Stays in the ball game, but he's still kind of flexing that left leg. I don't want to speculate if it's a knee, an ankle, an Achilles, or what, but he's a tough kid. He's gonna stay in there, and that pitch will be high for a ball. So we'll go to 2 balls, 1 strike, and you can see after that pitch how he kind of lifted his leg and flexed it. It was an innocent enough looking play. After a pitch, he kind of stumbled a little bit, and storm clouds coming in, and storming on the field right now is Brattleboro. Got a 2-2 count. They've got the bases loaded, 1 out and 1 run in. They're already in the tournament. All the pressure on Rutland Post 31 here in this ball game. They need a win here to qualify for the postseason. And it's scheduled for a doubleheader, whether or not Mother Nature lets it happen. Oh, he got him looking. Strike 3. Mike Dixon will go down looking at strike 3 on the breaking ball, and now Wagner up with 2 down, and the base is still juiced. If they can get out of this inning with only the 1 run surrendered, because remember they had the bases loaded, nobody out. That could be a big momentum builder for Rutland if they get out of this whole mess with just a 1 run scored against them. So Wagner, the third baseman, will watch that one slice outside a little bit for a ball. Hi. So TJ Oliver seems to be okay now. Stop flexing that leg, and oh, that's hit a mile. That is going to be over the head, and 1 run in, 2 runs in, and they're going to still wave him around. Nope, they'll hold him up. So a 2-run double with 2 down will score Kavanaugh, Scooter Scott, Boudreaux will stop at third, and Wagner will be at second base. So Joe Martell, the second baseman, up now with 2 outs, 2 on, and a 3-0 Brattleboro lead. And boy, that was a low pitch below the knee, and got to give credit to Wagner going down and getting that, and giving it quite a ride out to right field. That pitch was high, so not the start Rutland was looking for. They had that pop fly double, a walk, an error, another walk. And there's going to be another base hit, and it'll be more RBIs. And yep, they're going to score 2 more runs. Bloomer will pick the ball up, and boy, Brattleboro. I like the way they're playing. They've qualified for the postseason, but they're coming out like their life depends on this ball game right here. They've now sent their 9th batter to the plate in David Velasquez, and a 5-0 lead for the Brattleboro Post 5 squad. There's the throw to first, and runner back safe. So 9 batters coming to the plate here in the top of the first. 5 runs in, 2 down, and runner at first base. Good pitch. Challenged him with the fastball. Don't forget, there is the second game of the doubleheader, but you want to go into that with even more pressure on you if you drop this first ball game. You know, I just go back. That was a very catchable fly ball to lead off this inning. The error at third base, and I mean, there's a whole different scenario here if you make those 2 plays. There's the throw to first, and runner back safe. So Rutland right now will have at least a 5-run hole to work out of before they even come to the plate. This is scheduled for 7. And that breaking ball again, not really snapping off for TJ. Yeah, it all started actually with Woodstock 4 games ago. The last place Woodstock squad came in and took a win right here from St. Peter's Field from Post 31, and that's kind of sent a whole panic mode. Rutland came back with a big 4-2 win over Fairhaven, and they went to Windsor and swept Windsor. And like I said, just in a great battle yesterday with Bellows Falls, ended up losing that game 8-7. They really haven't been a home field team. They've been inconsistent throughout the season. Their biggest winning streak has been a 3-game stretch. And they split with Bennington. They split with Hartford. And they'll call a balk on TJ Oliver. And that's not an unusual thing. TJ has been called for several balks this year. 2-2 count. The pitch obviously was not counted. And that'll be fouled off as a good job with 2 strikes of falling off that borderline pitch on the outside corner. So 5 runs first inning for Brattleboro. If Rutland does lose here, like I said, I have no idea who they have slated for the second game as far as starting pitching. It'd be very interesting. I don't know who I would bring out, but it'd be very interesting to see what they would come out with the pitch. And it's going to be through the hole. Another, yeah, they're going to send him around to score, and the throw coming in, and he'll have him by a mile. Yeah, best play of the inning for Rutland, but a little bit too late. 5 runs in for Brattleboro, and Rutland will come up down 5 runs in the first inning. So Brattleboro's going to have Ryan Smith on the mound. Colby Bonnet will be the catcher. They'll have Scooter Scott at first base. Joe Martell will be at second base. Jordan Emerson's your shortstop. Peter Wagner at third base. And I'll set the outfield after the first pitch to Rob Dorian. And that'll be low for a ball. Oh, my goodness, that's a strike. Oh, my God, I had it up as a ball already. Oh, we're having one of those flexible strike zones today. If they call that a strike all day, they better bring their 9-iron. That'll be in the dirt, and I got to wait on this one. That will be a ball now, 1-1. Andrew Kavanaugh is the left fielder. David Velasquez is in center, and Mike Dixon is the right fielder. So again, Rutland not off to the start they were hoping for, down 5 runs, but they might light the fire under them early and get that sense of urgency going. And so now goes to 3 balls, 1 strike. So the windup from Smith, and that'll be right down the middle of the plate for strikes. Well, a full count to Rob Dorian, with the on-deck batter being Aaron Bloomer, then Ryan Carter in the number 3 spot. Jeff Bloomer, the DH, will bat cleanup. And that'll be in the dirt for ball 4. Yeah, and Aaron Bloomer up now. One thing I don't like already is how quiet post 31 is over there in the dugout. Down 5 runs. They should be just yupping it up, trying to psych out their opponent. Aaron Bloomer's been hitting the ball very well the last 4 ball games for post 31. He had a big weekend over in Windsor in that doubleheader. And that's a fly ball, and Kavanaugh looks to have a beat on it. Will make the grab, and that's going to be 1 out here on the fly out to left field. Ryan Carter up now, the catcher today for post 31. Again, Dorian is being held over on first base defensively by Scooter Scott. Mike Dixon's the right fielder. Velasquez in center, Kavanaugh in left. And that will complete the defensive alignment out there for Brattleboro. The lefty on the mound is Ryan Smith. And he's going to first base. So again, the slight breeze blowing today. It was 81 at game time. The temperature was. It's humid, and there was a shower about an hour and a half before the start of the ball game. And it's called a strike below the knee. It'll be no balls, 1 strike. There's the throw to first. Again, Dorian back safe. So Ryan Carter just trying to figure out what the strike zone is here from Ryan Smith. He's down in the count, 0-2. Rutland surrendering 5 runs in the top of the first. Carter, the number 3 batter up there. Dorian started everything off with a walk. And there's the Little throw over to first base, and again Dorian back well ahead of it. And the outfield actually playing, I think, relatively shallow for Carter. So Ryan Smith will come to the plate, and that's going to be right at third base to throw to first and double play. That's the inning, and we'll go to the top of the second, 5-0. Brattleboro with the lead. So top of the order back up here in the second inning as Brattleboro sent 9 batters to the plate in the first inning. And that's going to be out, and looks like Bloomer does have a beat on it. He'll settle in and make the grab for the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 down. And I didn't get a chance to tell you that Jordan Emerson had a double and scored back in the first inning. This is Andrew Kavanaugh. He walked and scored back in the first. As Brattleboro already, like I said, second time through the order, only in the second inning, scheduled for 7. And don't forget the mercy rule. Is if after in a 7-inning game, after 5 innings, if one team trails by 10 or more runs, they have to have 5 full at bats, and if they still trail by 10 runs or more after that, then that is the ball game. That was a foul tip caught by Carter, the catcher, and that'll become quickly an 0-2 count now to Andrew Kavanaugh. Scooter Scott on deck, and that's strike 3. Oh my goodness! I just have no idea what the strike zone is today. Great looking pitch on 0-2. Yeah, now he'll put the ball on the plate of Matt Merritt, and he'll get it. So they do get the out, but took an extra pitch, and Scooter Scott up now. He reached on an error committed by the third baseman Mike Sorelli, and Scooter Scott himself also eventually scored the 3rd run of the ball game back in the first inning. So 2 down, nobody on here, and it's top of the second, scheduled for 7. And that looks like Bloomer will make the grab for the 3rd out. He'll come in, make the catch around the knee, and that's a 1-2-3 inning, much different than that first. 5-0 Brattleboro going in the bottom of the second. So Ryan Smith will be facing Jeff Bloomer, Chad Ryan, and Mike Sorelli, as Rutland had only 3 batters come to the plate in that first inning, and they had a double play turned on. That's what really, because remember, Dorian started off with a walk that inning, then the fly ball, and then the double play on a hard hit line drive to third base. And I think he did go. They'll peel it and strike. Yep. So an 0-2 count to Jeff Bloomer, the DH, batting for the pitcher today, TJ Oliver. And Ryan Smith, big lefty, dropped down sidearm that time, and that will sail outside on him, and it'll be a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Still the count in his favor as the pitcher, if he wants to be clever here and throw something other than the fastball, and yeah, he did. He threw the breaking ball again, came down 3/4 sidearm with it, and now all of a sudden the count leave it up now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now this slight breeze blowing, not a factor at all. Doesn't favor the hitter, doesn't favor the pitcher. It's almost a non-factor, and that'll be put into play toward third base and foul. Wagner will pick it up, number 11 over there, and he'll just toss the ball back into play. Again, this is the conclusion, this doubleheader with Brattleboro. This is game 1. This is the conclusion of the regular season for American Legion Baseball on PEGTV Channel 15 Sports. And the math is simple. Brattleboro is already in the tournament, and Rutland needs to win to get into the tournament. And good eye right there as that pitch came in high and goes to a full count now after being down 0-2. Jeff Bloomer's gotten it all the way back to a 3-2 count. And catching and firing, and that's going to be up the middle. Base hit for Bloomer. Good job of keeping his head right down on the ball, and Rutland will have a base runner on. The leadoff batter on, actually, and Chad Ryan up. Chad Ryan's been hitting the ball very well in the last 3 or 4 ball games. And he is a tough guy to double up. He's got a lot of speed. And Bloomer with just average speed down at first base, but Chad Ryan at home base with a lot of speed, and he'll just flick the throw over to first base. And again, you can see that Bloomer is only a couple steps actually off the bag. So Ryan Smith back to the stretch as he had to pitch from the stretch after the walk to Dorian. And that's going to be pulled down the third baseline. Foul. Again, he was able to turn on that pitch and pull it, but it was foul. So obviously a strike. So Sorelli on deck, and then Zach Aquistapace been pushed down to the number 7 spot today. Post 31, batting number 8 is Joe Rodolfi, number 9, Matt Merritt. So you see Chad Ryan getting situated, all set from the right-hand side of the batter's box, and I'll tell you, that was close to a balk right there as he started to bring the knee toward the first base bag. Yeah, so a 1-1 count now. And you get a lot of movement on the pitch from the left-hand, that left-handed movement you get, but it's dipping away out of the strike zone. It'll go 2 balls, 1 strike. And I would be surprised, even though everybody's got the green light, to see him send Jeff Bloomer on anything other than a hit and run. And a good stop behind the plate by Colby Bonnet. The catcher able to scoop the ball up and not allow the runner to go to second base on the wild pitch. So 3 balls, 1 strike, nobody down, 1 on. Bottom of the second, scheduled for 7, 5-0 Brattleboro. All 5 runs coming back in the first inning. And that's got a chance for a gap. That's got a chance to be in the gap, and it's going to land. And well, you see how wet the field is. It just died. Bloomer going to third base will be there easily, and yeah, they're going to hold him at third, and at second is Chad Ryan. So Ryan continues that hot hitting he's had here in the second half of the season. Now Sorelli up with runners at second and third, nobody out, and something happening here. So Ryan Smith will get out of the stretch. He'll go back to the full windup, which says he's much more comfortable in the full windup than having to pitch from the stretch. And speaking of hot bats, Mike Sorelli's probably been one of the hottest hitters in the last 4 ball games himself. A bunch of doubles and a couple triples mixed in there. So not only just making contact, but making good gap hitting contact, power contact. And right now, this is an opportunity in the bottom of the second for post 31 to get right back in the ball game. They're down 5 runs. A lot of ball game left to go, I know, but they've been the type of ball club post 31 has that gets the table set like this, but then can't break through with the big inning. They'll nickel and dime you with a run or two, but when they have the opportunity for a big inning, it just doesn't seem to happen this year for them. Nothing like getting it started now. Quiz to pace on deck, with Sorelli at the plate. And Sorelli was a starting pitcher against Bellows Falls. And that's going to be the short, bobbled, and they're going to send him home. Runner go to third. They'll get the runner at first. They'll get the run across, and they'll get the runner over to third. So gutsy run and play right there. And they'll have Jeff Bloomer come in to score. Going to third base is Chad Ryan, and Sorelli will ground out on that 6-3 ground out. Quiz to pace up now with 1 out and a runner at third base. And they need Quiz to pace to break out his slump he's been in. He really wasn't hitting that bad before he suffered a shoulder injury, then missed, I think, 4 games. Could have been 3 games where he played, but he didn't bat. They had a DH for him. And he's had flashes of breaking out, but just really hasn't gotten on a real consistent, confident roll. And Brattleboro did their homework. They'll know breaking balls are his weakness right now at the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Goes to base with a 2-0 count. Should be thinking fastball right here, and that'll tail away. And oh my God. About to say it was a good eye, but they'll call that a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. He's called them below the knees. He's called them way outside up high. It's just very erratic. That's tough, very tough on Rutland batters to figure out what the zone. Like that, he swung at that because the odds of that being called a strike were astronomical. They just don't know. And I'm not getting on the umpire, but Jesus, be consistent. 2-2 the count. Rutland able to get 1 run so far here in the second inning, and they've cut that deficit down to 4 runs right now. And he went. I'm looking for the other umpire, so they're going to peel it, and nope, they'll catch a little break right there, and it'll be 3 balls, 2 strikes. No, 3-2 curveball coming up. Nope, went fastball, and now see that. That looked just like the pitch that was called a strike earlier. Yeah. Yep. And that's just... So Quiz to pace will walk. We'll have runners at the corners. And this will bring a visit to the mound to talk to Ryan Smith. I had to wait. Yeah, everybody had to wait. See if that was going to be a ball or strike. So I guess the quarter flipped heads. That'll be a ball this time. And runners at the corners. I wouldn't anticipate Quistapage just inched over closer back to first base, so he's not sure of the move. That's going to be a base hit over the top of the second baseman, Martell, and a run coming in, and runners will hold up at first and second on a sharp hit ball by Rodolfi. So Quistapage will end up at second base. Matt Merritt up now, batting number 9, then top of the order. 5-2 Rutland, down by 3 here in the bottom of the second, and Ryan Smith will skip that one into the dirt, and that'll be a ball. So after facing just 3 batters in the first inning, Ryan Smith's having all kinds of difficulties here as Rutland zoning in, making good contact. We've had a couple singles and a double. And a strike called there, making a 1-1 count. 5-2, Brattleboro's lead down to 3, and we're only in a second, so settle in. This has got the feel of a long, long afternoon right here. You see Ryan Smith with the turn and the fake as Quistapage getting very conservative lead down at second base. And that could drop. That could be hit just in the right spot. Late break on the ball. It's going to drop in, and they're going to throw through to the cutoff, and bases will be loaded now for so Dorian up. He walked back in the first inning, and he's got the table set as the base is juiced. Tying run is at first base. Go ahead run at home base, and got a good contact hitter at the plate and somebody with a lot of speed to get down the line, and he'll watch that one come in, woo, for a ball. Now you can see the pitcher questioning the strike zone where it was the batters before. That one right down the heart of the plate. Easy one to call. 1 ball, 1 strike. So very tension-filled second inning here, and that'll stay outside and be called a ball. 2-1 to count to Dorian with Aaron Bloomer on deck. Like I said, Rob Dorian with the walk his first time up, and eventually was part of that double play that ended the inning in that first inning. He'll put it into play towards shortstop. They'll turn 1, and
no way!
They got him. They'll say he is out, and that'll end the inning. And quite a stretch by Scooter Scott, and Rutland able to pick up 2 runs, be down 3, 5-2 going into the third. That's be a base hit to lead off this third inning. As you can see that ball go through the hole at short, and I didn't get a chance to tell you, at the plate was Nate Boudreau. So Boudreau has walked and had a single now, and that's TJ Oliver out there working through that injury he had when he stumbled awkwardly off the mound. He got checked out through some warm-up pitches and stayed in the ball game. Had a very good second inning. He had a 1-2-3 second inning. Now Colby Bonnet up. He popped up to Matt Merritt, who caught the ball in short right field. As we're in the top of the third, 5-2 the score. Brattleboro with the lead. Rutland needing to win to get in the tournament. Brattleboro's already there. And I don't want to do math. I was awful at it yesterday, but I think Brattleboro has already got the number 1 seed sewed up. They do have a game left with Bennington tomorrow. Whoa. They're going to throw down. They got a chance. They got a chance. And coming short. That came off that retaining wall back there so fast and hard to Ryan Carter. He's able to pick up and make it a close play at second base. So on the wild pitch, Boudreau will go down to second base. Bonnet the catcher, and Mike Dixon on deck. Oliver with the 1 strikeout in the ballgame so far. Yeah, he's still looking for his rhythm here in the ballgame. And he'll get that high inside pitch called a strike his way, and we'll go to 3 balls and 1 strike to Bonnet. And we'll have a full count now. That goes off the bat, off the catcher, and out of play, and 3-2 the count. So, yeah, Brattleboro started right off with a bang. They got that double, then a walk, then an error, then another walk that forced in a run. And then another double drove in 2 runs by Wagner, and Martell with a single that drove in 2 more RBIs. They had that 5-run first inning. And then defensively, they came into the bottom of the first, turned a double play, and had a 1-2-3 inning. And that is popped up. Dorian, circle around. He'll make the grab, and yeah, nobody moving up on. Well, first of all, Dorian has an excellent arm, and the ball really wasn't hit that deep, and that'll come in now as a first out on that fly out to Rob Dorian. Dixon up. He took strike 3 looking back in the first inning. He's the only strikeout so far in the ball game for T.J. Oliver. Again, after giving up 5 runs in the top of the first, Rutland's got to play defensive stops here, and that's on the infield, and Chad Ryan will make the grab on the infield pop-up for out number 2. Right off the fist, that was. Now Wagner up. He had a double that drove in 2 runs, and he eventually scored a run himself. So Wagner, the third baseman, with a very productive first inning. And the sun coming back out. Like I said, it's a threatening day. It's supposed to rain and have some thunder showers, and the sun keeps playing peekaboo, and Oliver won't get the call there. Talking about peekaboo, we played peekaboo with the outside corner, and it'll be ball 1. We're in the third, scheduled for 7, and Rutland with their back to the wall trying to get into the playoffs here. Not only that, if you go back to early in the season, they had late leads against Bennington on the road early in the year and couldn't hold the lead there and lost it late in the contest. They've had some games where they just couldn't put it away. They'll be out of play down the third baseline and out of play. So T.J. Oliver with a 2-1 count now, looking for that third out and looking to strain that runner down at second base. Boudreaux started this inning off with a single. That's going to be hard to Merritt, and he'll knock it down. Matt Merritt will get up, throw, and that's the inning. Nice play by Matt Merritt to get that 4-3 ground out. We'll stay 5-2 Bennington, or Brattleboro, I'm sorry, going in the bottom of the third. So Aaron Bloomer fly out to left field, up for the second time, taking a look at Ryan Smith's stuff. Smith had a very rough second inning, and on a close play at first base at the end of that inning, he was able to get out and give up just the 2 runs. Remember, they had the bases loaded and just 1 out. 6-4-3 double play. Now wait on that, and there'll be a ball right there. So go to 2 ball, no strike count. It'll be Aaron Bloomer, Ryan Carter, and then Jeff Bloomer. If they get to a 4th batter, it'll be Chad Ryan. And Ryan Smith will miss low, and 3-0. You got to expect him to be taking all the way right here. That's been the tendencies or the season for Post 31. And that will be a 4-pitch walk right there. And so Bloomer will be down at first base via the walk. Ryan Carter up, he hit into that 5th hard line drive to the third baseman Wagner, who threw to first, and they doubled up Dorian. Again, he hit that ball extremely hard, which is one of the reasons we're able to turn the double play. Bloomer with just a very short lead off the bag at first base. You go back, you see that pitch in the dirt, and a good stop behind the plate by Bonnet, the catcher, Colby Bonnet, able to keep the ball in front of him. And again, game number 1 of a doubleheader. It's on PEGTV Channel 15 Sports, and the website for Channel 15 is www.PEGTV, and you can go there not only to get schedule information and all kinds of information about public access television, but you can also click on video on demand, follow the step-by-step instructions, and watch programming from PEGTV right there on your computer. That's a good pitch. So Ryan Smith needed a strike right there and got it. Goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. He didn't want to go back to a 3-0 count. He'd already done that with Aaron Bloomer. Jeff Bloomer on deck, and Carter will go up, and that looks to be playable. Yeah, he'll float over, make the grab, and the pitch might have been high and out of the strike zone, but he went up after it, and that'll be fly ball out number 1. Now Jeff Bloomer up, he had a single and scored back in that second inning. And Steve Shortle's here now on the PA system. All right. That could be the breaking point of the ballgame right there and turn things around for Rutland. It was an awkward time today. It was a 3 o'clock start time because they have no lights here. That's why they got to start early. They want to get the doubleheader in. And strike 2 called outside corner. So quickly down in the count, 0-2 is Jeff Bloomer. his brother Aaron at first base. He got there on a walk, and Chad Ryan on deck. And that's going to be a foul ball. He pulled it down the third baseline, but it'll be foul. So we'll stay at 0-2. Yeah, Rutland sending 7 men to the plate in the second inning, came up with just 2 runs, and since they surrendered the 5 runs to Brattleboro in the first, they've shut Brattleboro out in the second and in the third. And pretty much that's what they've got to do. Remainder this afternoon. Oh, that's hit on the line. Velasquez will take it on 1 bounce, and the ball hit so hard they're only able to move up to 1 base. So first and second for the Bloomer boys. Again, they've been quite the dynamic duo out there this year for Post 31. Now Chad Ryan up. He had a double and an RBI back in the second, and he came around to score eventually. And they called time. They want to have Bonnet come out and talk to his pitcher, Ryan Smith, with a 1 out in first and second situation. Could be a lot of different things we're talking about. Well, it's a good opportunity for me right now to take this second and thank American Legion Post 31 for allowing me to videotape their home baseball games this year, then put it on Channel 15 Sports. Also like to thank the MSJ Athletic Association for allowing me to come up and use the football press box to videotape from. So the meeting was brief, to the point, and 1 down, 2 on for Rutland. They're looking to keep chipping away at that 5-2 lead. It's Chad Ryan up, and like I said, he's been seeing the ball very well and hitting the ball very well the last 4 or 5 games. Yeah, and that first pitch fastball is a strike. So after a 1-2-3 first inning, Ryan Smith's been in and out of trouble here from that point on, and that's going to be up the middle, knocked down. Great play, 1. He's safe at first. Yeah, what a great play, though, to get the runner at second base. Man, that was a big league play right there by Brattleboro as they dove on the ball and then flipped it up to their second baseman. So Ryan will be on with the fielder's choice. 6-3 force out. Aaron Bloomer goes to third. Now Mike Sorelli up. He grounded out to the shortstop. Jordan Emerson, his only time up. And it's going to be through the hole. That'll drive a run in. It'll be 5-3 now. Brattleboro's lead down to 2. So Sorelli just enough on the ball to get it through the hole at short. Yeah, and Zach Quistapace up. He walked and got stranded at third base back in the second inning. And again, tying run at first base, go ahead run at home plate. And Quistapace looking to really get on track here, hoping to get Rutland in the postseason and get on track if they get there, and that'll be strike 1. Just dropped that curveball out on the outside corner. No, he has the ability. I mean, in the past, he's been a very consistent, very good hitter, but he's really struggled after coming back from the shoulder injury to get on track. And he'll hold up this time, and back-to-back breaking balls. And like I said, breaking balls he's had a lot of trouble with this season. So at a 1-1 count, runners at first and second, they had to hold up on that ball in the dirt. There was no way they were going to be able to advance on that. Oh, they faked it, and yep, right there for a strike. Yep, good pitch. Not only to watch, but to hit. So 1-2 with 2 down now, 5-3. Brattleboro with the lead. And the Quistapace need to buckle down here with the 2 strikes. And you see Smith drop down to that sidearm delivery. He's done that a couple times today without any success of actually getting the ball over, but just gives him a different look trying to pick up the release point. And we're all even out at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he did. He watched that one all the way in. Dropped short. Full count to a Quistapace. Rodolfi on deck. He's got an RBI single himself. And a Quistapace now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. See if they'll throw him a breaking ball. He did. He made the contact. It's a high chopper to the shortstop. Emerson with the throw. Got him. Rutland, no, again, picks up 1 run, and they've got it down to 2 now, 5-3 going into the 4th. So Martell up here to start off the 4th inning. Boy, you take away that 9-batter first inning, 5 runs, couple errors on Rutland, and they have actually outplayed Brattleboro 3-0 from that point on, but just a rocky start. Not the way they were looking to get off, but again, maybe it's enough to push that emergency button, that sense of urgency button on post 31. It's going to be Martel, Velasquez, and then Emerson, the 8-9 and number 1 hitter, due up against TJ Oliver. And see, Oliver, we said with that week off, and only threw a few pitches yesterday in the ball game, should get stronger as this game goes along. And just got a piece of it for a foul ball. So we'll stay with a 1-2 count in the 4th, scheduled for 7, and Rutland needing a win to get into the postseason, the Southern Tournament. They still have hope if they drop both games today. They have to wait for the outcome of the Bennington-Brattleboro game tomorrow, and that's going to be up the middle and just past Chad Ryan. So that'll be a leadoff single here in the 4th. They'll have the leadoff runner on for the... That's 3 of the 4 innings Brattleboro able to get the leadoff batter on. So Velasquez up. He singled his only time up back in the 1st inning. And that's foul tip caught by the catcher, and he had a good rip at that ball, and getting Rutland right now only down to 2 runs, but at the midway point of the ball game, that throw to first, runner back safe. He'll dive in, just get dirty, and Quista Base will hold him on defensively over there. First base, Matt Merritt continues to be at second base. Chad Ryan's your shortstop. Mike Sorelli's at third base. Aaron Bloomer, Rob Dorian, and Joe Rodolfo the outfield, and that will allow the runner now. There you see him going down to second base, putting himself in scoring position with nobody down. And Rutland's, from that 2nd and 3rd inning, they were able to get a lot of people on base, so that 2-run lead pretty soft right now. Brattleboro definitely wants to pick back up the momentum they had in that 1st inning. It just does look like Ryan Smith, the starting pitcher for Brattleboro, is going to be sticking around for all 7 innings. So 2 balls, 1 strike. See TJ come to set, very deliberate about coming to set. He's had 1 balk called on him this ball game. He's had several called on him throughout the season, and it's not for his footwork. It's mostly because he doesn't come to a definitive, distinctive stop in his motion. And he's working on it. That's going to be to Chad Ryan, deep in the hole at short. Will make the long throw, get the out. That's a big-time play right there by Chad Ryan. That's a great job going deep in the hole to get that, and then make a good, strong throw to first. And Jordan Emerson him up. Emerson with a double in the 1st, flying out to Aaron Bloomer in left field. So he's 1 for 2 today, up for the 3rd time already. See Carter trying to frame that and get the call, but it'll be ball 1. They'll say it's too low. So Brattleboro post 5 in those maroon uniforms out there in the plate, trying to crank up the offense. Post 31 on their home field in the red, white, and blue out there defensively, and that's going to be to Sorelli. He'll make a nice grab. The throw will be low, and Quista Pace can't handle it. Yeah, that was a tough throw. Yeah, and they're going to make the throw, and that was going to be a mistake. And yeah, I knew the minute he did it, it was going to be a mistake. Yeah, so now they'll go to third base. So Brattleboro will pick up their 6th run. And the throw to third, I think he was basically standing there when they decided to make the throw to third. So Martel will score. So that goes an error on the throw to first, and then an error on the throw to third. And Kavanaugh up now. He is walked and grounded out to second. I'll spin him around. So a 6-3 game with 1 down, but also a runner still out there in scoring position at third base. And Rutland brought the third baseman in on the grass. And that'll be a foul ball right off from the foot of Andrew Kavanaugh. Like I said, he walked and scored in the 1st and grounded out to Matt Merritt in the 2nd. And boy, just can't afford to get back those runs, especially when you start the ball game off down 5 after a half inning. And again, Rutland giving away a lot in that first inning. Couple errors, couple walks, and that might hang up enough. It's just a matter of staying fair play. No, it'll be in foul territory over toward the concession stands. Game 1 of a doubleheader. And Rutland coming in with those 5 league losses. Brett Bennington with 7 league losses and 6 losses for Bellows Falls. And boy, he swung after that was in the catcher mitt. Best looking fastball he's thrown all day, and that's his second strikeout. You got Dixon back in the first looking. Now Scooter Scott has reached on an error and scored in the first and flied out to Aaron Bloomer in the second. That you just can't give away extra outs, which is Rutland's done 4 times today already with 4 errors in the ball game. That's hit down to third. Sorelli will double clutch in the glove and bounce it away. Yeah, he's just aiming now. Another run will come in, and I think that's 3 errors on Sorelli just this inning. But he's thinking about the throw now. He's not just naturally, instinctively getting the ball and throwing. He's thinking about the throws, and that's why he's short arming them over to first. So Boudreaux up there, and 7-3 now. So they've given almost back the entire 5-run lead. It's at 4 right now, obviously, but so 2 down. And again, Oliver's pitched well. He's just really had a lot of breakdowns behind him. And they're mental errors. They're just routine plays. A ground ball, throw to first. You're coming up short, coming up where the head, and Oliver will be outside. But you're extending the game, extending the opportunities for your opponent. You're extending how many pitches your pitcher has to throw to get out. And that will be a swing and a miss, and the ball got away from Carter, and he'll hustle after it. Nobody moved up on it. So after holding Brattleboro scoreless for the second and third inning, they're able to pick up a couple unearned runs here in the fourth, and they're not done yet. And TJ Oliver trying to get that elusive third out here. That'll be ripped foul. Boy, he's able to turn on that. And that's Rutland trying to avoid a colossal collapse in the last 5 games of the season. All great defensive swing. With 2 strikes, he reached out there and got it and stayed alive. And Boudreaux, the DH, with a walk in the first and a single in the third. Looking to reestablish the 5-run lead with a base hit here. So he's got Scooter Scott down at second. And he'll draw the walk on a good eye right there. And Colby Bonnet up now. He's 0 for 2. He's popped up to Matt Merritt, and he's flied out to Rob Dorian in center field. That's just the 7th batter coming to the plate here in the 4th inning. They've sent 9 to the plate in the first. And now 7 here in the 4th. And with a clean count, he will have straight called right there. Yeah, Mike Dixon is the on-deck batter. He'll bat in that number 6 spot, and he's on deck waiting in case they do get it to another batter here. And that's off the fist and out of play. Ryan Carter will watch you sail over the screen. Tim Barrett will put a new ball on the plate of TJ Oliver, and we'll have an 0-2 count. 2 strikeouts in the ball game so far for TJ Oliver. The post 31 starting pitcher still out there. And he'll get him. That'll be the inning, but it was a big one for Brattleboro. They'll have a 7-3 lead going into the bottom of the fourth. Number 8 batter in the order, top of the order here in the fourth, though, would be Joe Rodolphe up. He's had an RBI single back in the second. Rutland back down by 4 now after cutting the lead to 2. They trailed by as many as 5, and that's going to be strike 1 delivered by Ryan Smith. So Smith getting a lot of support from the Rutland defense. The problem with that is Smith is the Brattleboro pitcher. Velasquez called off, and Kavanaugh coming in with that good speed to make the catch. Got a great jump on the ball. And now retire Rodolphe. Now now Matt Merritt up. Yeah, Matt Merritt had a single back in that second inning. So Rutland in the bottom of the fourth. Matt Merritt will watch that one. Not be called a strike. Ball 1. And they'll miss there for a 2-0 count. So they need to get something started here as they picked up 2 runs in the second, 1 in the third, and they need to keep chipping away even though they let the lead get back up to 4 here. And that's going to be ball 3. So 3-0, and expect Matt Merritt to be taking all the way. Again, I have no idea who's slated to start the second game for Rutland. And that's a good pitch. Strike right there. I'll make it 3 balls, 1 strike. See the wind up the pitch, and that'll be down to the shortstop. He'll get a handle on it, throw to first, and get the out. So that ball was hit to Emerson, and the 6-3 ground out will become out number 2 here of the fourth inning. Now top of the order, Rob Dorian up. Now he is walked and hit into a 6-4-3 double play. And Ryan Smith looking to have a 1-2-3 inning. He'll set back up on the rubber after missing that first pitch. 1 ball, no strikes, and right there, 1-1 to count. If Dorian can get on, then you have Aaron Bloomer on deck. And strike 2. So 1-2, and again, not a strikeout in the book recorded for Ryan Smith on his way to just missing it right there. I think one wrapped itself around the plate but didn't hit the plate, and we'll have a 2-2 count now. See, with a 2-2 count, what he wants to come back with as far as pitch selection in the sequence. That's going to be down towards second base. Martell, he's got time. He'll pick it up and get him out. So they will have a 1-2-3 inning. They'll hold that 7-3 lead over Rutland. We'll go into the 5th from St. Peter's Field. Some defensive changes to talk about there for post 31. Casey Battles has gone in to play first base for post 31. They brought Aaron Bloomer in to play third base for Mike Sorelli, and they brought Mike Serino in to left field. And I think, yeah, I can see that's all the changes out there. And you have Mike Dixon at the plate to be followed by Pete Wagner and then Joel Martell. Now Serino out there in left field plays a very solid defensive outfield position. Sorelli with the 3 errors has been relieved, and they said that Quista Pace had injured his finger. So in the top of the 5th, Brattleboro will be looking at the middle of the order with Dixon, Wagner, Martell. And that'll be fouled out of play. Now, very quiet post 31 dugout, very quiet post 31 fan base right now as their team fell behind 5-0 after a half inning. We're able to score 2 in the second, 1 in the third to cut the lead to 5-3, but then a 2-run mistake-filled 4th. That's hit deep. Dorian's got it, and he's a good 10-12 feet away from the wall. He'll track it down and make the catch for the out. As I'm looking for my pen, there it is. So Dorian with a couple putouts today. And that's going to be toward the hole and through the hole. Gets past Merritt and through Battles, and I'll have a base hit for, waiting for him to run. It is Wagner, so 1 out signal for Pete Wagner, and he has a double and a single today. And he's also grounded out to Matt Merritt. And now Martell up, and he's had a couple singles and a couple RBIs, and he scored a run. So Martell's been very productive from that number 8 spot in the batting order from the stretch. Oliver will induce a pop-up, and it's going to be out of play. Yep. So it'll just go as a strike on the foul ball. So Martell with Velasquez sitting on deck for Brattleboro. They've come in with just the 2 league losses, and I think if they haven't already secured it with a win first game here, they would secure the top seed in the upcoming Southern Tournament, which will be held in Windsor, Vermont. The Northern Tournament will be held up at Addison, and then the State Championship Tournament will be held at Windsor again. That's deep in the hole. That's going to be 1, and yeah, he'll eat it, and they'll cut down that lead runner for the second out here. So Martell will reach on the fielder's choice. Yeah, Velasquez up. He singled in the first and grounded out to the shortstop in the 4th. And again, TJ Oliver has pitched well. He's just had his team commit 5 errors behind him. That's ball 1. Yep, after Velasquez, he'll be back around to Emerson, back up in the top spot. That will sail outside, and that'll become ball 2. So Velasquez with a very good eye out there anyways for the strike zone. Up in the count, see if he'll be sitting on a fastball here with a 2-0 count. And that was a curveball that hung up on the inside corner and got ripped down there. Foul. For a 2-1 count now. 2 down. And that runner at first base for Brattleboro. They're at the plate. They're batting right now. They have the maroon uniforms on. And Carter stopped it, but by the time he located it, yeah, it was too late now. Allow the runner to get out there to second base with 2 down in scoring position. Well, very important not to relax right here with the runner at second with the 2 outs. You do not want to have him come around and score. We're scheduled for 7 innings. We're in the 5th inning already. Rutland down by 4, and he went way up the ladder. And now the strike zone to chase that one for a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Oliver with the 3 strikeouts in the ballgame so far. Got him. Strike 3 on the big old curveball. They'll strand the runner, and it'll stay 7-3 Brattleboro. Those outs starting to slip away now. Rutland coming up in the bottom of the 5th. Just 9 outs left in this first game for them. They need a win to get in the tournament. Carter Bloomer is where they're at against Ryan Smith, who's, you take away that first inning, they had him on the ropes in the 2nd and 3rd and still only came out with those 2 innings with a combined 3 runs, and then he was able to recover and have a good 4th inning where he faced just 3 batters. I missed what happened. I was talking. He's out. Now Ryan Carter up. He's lined into a double play and flied out to right field. And that one just floated a little bit too far outside for a ball. Yeah, I have to see the lineup now with the Quistapace out of the lineup. I would assume that's going to plug Battles in. And then Sorelli's spot in the order, because he swings a hot bat. He might have been having trouble with the leather, but he's been swinging the bat very well. Yeah, and a good eye right there to lay out that pitch for 2 balls, 1 strike to Ryan Carter. And that's a good pitch. Pitcher's pitch, inside corner at the knee. Carter stepped out like he didn't like the call, but I I thought it was one of the better calls of the afternoon. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rutland catcher Ryan Carter. Now, see him ask for time. Remember in Bellows Falls game, he was at the plate, and the pitcher, Lally, took forever. Carter asked for time and was not granted it, but had relaxed his grip on the bat, stepped out, and the pitch came in, and strike 3. That was the ball game. Should he have had time granted to him? I think he asked for it plenty of time to have it granted. So a 3-2 count, and foul ball. Threw him the breaking ball with a full count, and he fouled it off. There's the 1 out, nobody on. Jeff Bloomer on deck, and then Chad Ryan. That's going to be down to second, Martell. The first, and they'll get the second out of the 5th inning. And I'll tell you what about the Brattleboro pitcher, Ryan Smith. He's gotten control of the breaking ball now, and that's what he's featuring. He was struggling early on the first 3 innings to actually find the pitch that was working for him, and he wasn't having a lot of success with the fastball. And he's found something now, and he's sticking with it. See, there's the breaking ball, pitch number 1 in the sequence, strike. To Jeff Bloomer. He's got nobody on base, 2 down, and his team down 7-3 in the bottom of the 5th. Now, if Rutland drops this first game, it's not over and done with yet. They can still get into the playoffs with a win in game number 2. Not that this game's over. That's what they mean by control their own destiny. If they do drop both games today, then they have to have some help from Bennington and Brattleboro. Brattleboro and Bennington play tomorrow, and they would be rooting for Brattleboro to defeat Bennington. Because if Rutland loses both games here today and Bennington wins tomorrow, Bennington will get the 4th spot over Rutland in the tiebreaker. Popped up, looks to be the 3rd out. Martell says he's got it back on the outfield grass, just avoids the collision, and they were talking, everybody was talking, and that'll be the 3rd out. We'll go to the 6th. Brattleboro up by 4. Jordan Emerson here in the 6th. We'll look at strike 1. Yeah, Rutland basically has to have 2 defensive stops, just like in basketball. They've got to clamp down and tighten up that defense and not allow any more runs. They're down by 4. Like I said, T.J. Oliver has pitched well. I mean, he faced 9 batters in the first inning, but they made 2 errors and a couple walks in that first inning and a misplayed ball, and then hit a solid 1-2-3 second inning, a good 3rd, and then, boy, a bunch of errors in the 4th. So he hasn't thrown tons of pitches. He's a 7-inning guy. He can easily go all 7. That's going to be down to Chad Ryan. Cleanly handles it, makes the throw, and that'll be safe at first. So nice job by Casey Battle to go up and keep the ball from going out of play, which will allow the runner to move to second. So there'll be an error over on Ryan on the throw, and Emerson will be on base. So they got the first inning, they had the first batter get on base. The 3rd inning, the 4th, and the 6th. So 4 of 6 innings, they'll be able to get the leadoff batter on. And I missed it, but the runner back safe on a throw to first. Andrew Kavanaugh up. He's officially 0 for 2. He walked, ground out to second, and struck out. And see Oliver trying to stay outside to the left-handed batter. I think it's been a very, I think it was that stunning 5-run first inning by Brattleboro, but post 31 and their fans have been very quiet in this ball game. I mean, it is just definitely quiet right now. Well, they have 6 outs left to work with offensively, but right now they got to, like I said, put a shutout inning up there defensively. They'll get the swing and the miss on that pitch. They'll go 2-1 now to Kavanaugh with Scooter Scott on deck. And he'll get the strike there for a 2-2 count. Yeah, Scooter Scott, the on-deck batter, has reached base twice, both times because of errors. Too far outside. Right idea, just too far outside. That'll make it a full count now. It's TJ Oliver with 4 strikeouts in the ball game. 2 looking, 2 swinging. And I think he committed. Yep. He'll become strikeout number 5. He couldn't check his swing, so 5 strikeouts now for Oliver. Yeah, Scooter Scott reached on an error in the first inning and scored, flying out to left field in the second, and then reached on an error in the fourth. And that is going to be chased down. No, it's going to be held, though, in the gap by Sereno. He got there. He'll turn and fire the ball in, and I'll tell you what, he did a good job of hustling after that. Sereno did, with Dorian right there. And I'm looking, yeah, they were able not to let the run get in there because of that good hustle play. Emerson did not score. Yeah, so Nate Boudreau, he has walked twice and singled. He has scored a run. So with the 1 out, big moment right here. Figure Brattleboro can open it up with a base hit, back up to a 9-3 lead. And Oliver right now just overthrowing. He's looking for a strikeout or a pop-up on the infield or in foul territory. He got it on the infield, and Matt Merritt by the mound will make the grab for out number 2. You see Oliver go behind her to back up the catcher in case there's a play at home, plus get out of the way of Matt Merritt. So he accomplished what he wanted to. He got induced a pop-up where the runners could not advance up. Yeah, Colby Burnett up now, and his last time up in the 4th inning, he struck out. But I'll tell you what, they elected not to go, and that time it turned out to be a miscalculation. But you never know how it's going to come off that little retaining wall in the back. So as they wait for the catcher Ryan Carter to get his gear back on. That was obviously a ball. They're 2 down. Runners at second and third. 7-3 Brattleboro. And that goes to a 2-ball, no strike count. Nobody in the bullpen area warming up for Rutland Post 31. And will he come in? He slipped down, and yep, he got a late start on it, and then he slipped coming in, and that'll drive in 2 runs. And that'll make it 9-3 Brattleboro. A 2-out single. And again, Sereno got a very late start on the ball, and then he slipped trying to come in to get it. And here comes Coach Sorelli out. Well, I'm looking though with the 2 outs if they just get him through this inning. Dixon, who's 0 for 3, is the batter. Unless, of course, he's injured or has a blister or something like that, but he hasn't made a move to take the ball away yet. And I think, just because they haven't taken the ball away, in a long discussion that they're going to stick with him. I mean, I'd give him one more batter to get that 3rd out and get to the 7th. Here comes the umpire. He's going to come out and yeah, they will make the change. So Mike McMahon now, they're doing the pitching for Rutland. He'll relieve TJ Oliver, who leaves with 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, and allowed 9 hits. That'll be in the dirt, and good stop there by Carter, the catcher. Dixon at the plate, or who I have in the book being Dixon. Like I said, he was 0 for 3 against Oliver, and he's up in the count now, 2 balls, no strikes. So 5-run first, 2 runs in the fourth, 2 runs in the sixth. So far, count for Brattleboro's 9 runs. And McMahon will go to a 3-0 count now. Pete Wagner on deck has had a big day at the plate for Brattleboro. And that will become a walk. That'll push the runner to first and second. So Pete Wagner coming up. He had a 2 RBI double back in the first and scored. He grounded out to Matt Merritt, made a great play at second base, and then he had a single back in the fifth. So he's 2 for 3 today. And a strike called. Boy, and a very, very listless post 31 squad. Oh, that's a shot. Home run. Yeah. Yeah, I told you he was hot at the plate, and he continued to be hot as he cleared the fence there. He'll make sure he touches them all. Yeah, because remember the Woodstock game, the catcher hit a home run for Woodstock and they never touched home base. And he makes no doubt about it. So McMahon comes in and gives up a 3-run homer. 2 of those, well, 1 of those runs will be given to Oliver. Now Martell up in a 12-3 ball game. And McMahon down in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. So 12-3 Brattleboro with the lead in game number 1. That'll be fouled back. The mercy rule is a 10-run lead after 5, and Brattleboro looming near that criteria right now. Not that this game is over, but boy, Rutland's got to really find some emotion to come out with in that second game. That second game is their last game of the regular season, win or lose. A win puts them in the playoffs. A loss, they have to wait and see what Brattleboro and Bennington do tomorrow. And McMahon just having a lot of problem right now finding the strike zone, getting behind in the count, and then like Wagner, able to sit on the fastball and then just crank it, or the 275 marker out in right field. That'll be fouled out of play, and we'll go to a full count now. Yeah, so Oliver went 6 2/3 innings. Ten runs. I believe 5 of them were unearned. So a team that had a very good look defensively early in the season, having all kinds of defensive trouble here in the second half of the season. And there's the catch. There's the out. But man, the damage done. 12-3 Brattleboro going in the bottom of the 6th. Chad Ryan, and then we'll wait and see what's going to happen in the next spot of the order, and that's going to be hit up and looks to be catchable in the right field area, and it'll be picked up by Dixon. That'll be out number 1 on 1 pitch from Ryan Smith. Like I said, he started off strong with a 1-2-3 first, and then got in trouble in the second and third, then settled down nicely from that point on. He's actually retired 8 in a row now. So he has set down 8 in a row. Now Sereno up for the first time this afternoon. And the curveball called a strike. Like I said, his fastball really wasn't working well for him in the early part of the ball game, talking about the Brattleboro pitcher Ryan Smith, but he's kind of really leaned heavily on that breaking ball, and it's been in control for him. He's been able to spot the fastball and be effective with it. So Rutland down to 5 more outs in the contest, and it's looking more and more and more like they have to win the last game of the year to qualify for the playoffs. See Sereno watch that pitch all the way through the strike zone. 1-2 now with the 1 out. And Smith will miss high. Again, Colby Bonnet behind the plate. Scooter Scott at first. Joe Martell's at second. Jordan Emerson's at short. Pete Wagner's at third. Kavanaugh, Velasquez, and Dixon in the outfield, and he'll be fouled off. Now to play. Chad Ryan started this inning off with a pop-up to right field. And he'll ask for time as Smith had taken too long. And that will be on the play down the first base side. So Sereno doing a good job here of making some contact. Quistapace spot next. I'll have to wait and see who. Well, actually looks like a Quistapace out there. They took him off the first base bag. The report was he had a injured finger. That's a miss. That's strike 3. Then the ball got past the catcher, and he will be down at first base. So Sereno with the good speed at first base now. And the ironic part of that, that's the first strikeout of the ball game for Ryan Smith, and it becomes a base runner. So it's Casey Battles at the plate. First time today, and he'll take strike 1. And then it should become Rodolfi on deck. And that one broke inside too far, and a 1-1 count. 12-3 Brattleboro with the lead in the bottom of the 6th, scheduled for 7. And they'll be too far outside, and they'll be hitter's favor now, and 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, Brattleboro came in the #1 team in the South, and they have certainly, even though they've had a lot of help from Rutland, they have certainly looked the part. That's a base hit up the middle for Battles, and runners will be at first and second. Good job keeping his head down on the ball. Now Rodolfi up 1 for 2 today. He's had an RBI single and then flied out to left field. Now put Matt Merritt on deck at the #9 spot. And again, it'll be interesting to see who will get the call for Rutland in the second game to take to the mound. That's going to be through the hole. Nope, it's going to be just far. It just hit so hard through the hole that, and they're playing so shallow that it's going to move everybody up just to 1 base. So we'll have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th with the 1 out. Yeah, so Rodolfi with 2 hits today, and now Matt Merritt up. He's 1 for 2. He's had a single himself back in the 2nd inning, then grounded out to the shortstop. They had the meeting on the mound, and I didn't think they were going to pull Smith out with the lead he had and the position in the ball game he is in the bottom of the 6th, up by 9. And again, they still have a ball game today to play. Brattleboro does, and they have a ball game tomorrow. Now he'll drop down to that sidearm delivery, and he hasn't been very successful with it all day, and it'll become a 1-1 count. So right now, what we're trying to do Rutland is avoid hitting into a double play. There's 1, 6-4-3. Second 6-4-3 double play of the ball game will end the threat, and we'll go to the 7th. Rutland down 9. Mike McMahon in the top of the 7th is going to be looking at David Velasquez and Jordan Emerson and Andrew Kavanaugh, the 3 scheduled here to come up for Brattleboro. Have a commanding 12-3 lead in top of the 7th, and we're scheduled for 7. So. And that's going to be hit right out toward Rodolfi. He'll come in a few steps and go back, make the adjustment, make the grab. Now Emerson him up. He's scored 3 runs today, Emerson has. He's reached 2 errors. He reached on an error in the 4th, an error in the 6th, and he had a double back in the 1st. Wagner, I think, would have to be considered. There have been so many hits throughout this order. But I think Wagner would have to be considered the MVP of this first game. He had a 2 RBI double, a single, and a 3 RBI home run. So, I mean, he's been very productive. Wagner, trying to do some math, 3, 4, 6 RBIs, and plus he scored twice himself, so he's counted for. He's been involved in 8 of the runs. And McMahon will miss high, and it'll be 2 balls, 1 strike. Kavanaugh waits on deck. And McMahon will get the strike call on the outside corner. Carter doing a nice job of making a catch and pulling the ball back into the strike zone, kind of framing it there for Tim Barrett. And with 2-2 count. He went down and golfed it foul, and it'll be harmlessly into foul territory, and we'll stay with a 2-2 count. Like I said, Oliver with TJ Oliver, the starting pitcher, with 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 9 hits, and his team committed 5 errors behind him. I believe only 5 of the 10 runs he was responsible for were actually earned. I'd say are all set now in the box. There's 1 out, nobody on, and that's another foul ball. And the outfield has Sereno in left, Dorian in center, Rodolfi in right. Casey Battles is at first base defensively. Now he'll give chase, but that's going to be out of play. Matt Merritt's at second, Chad Ryan remains at short, and Aaron Bloomer came in to replace Mike Sorelli at third base. Ryan Carter is the catcher, and Mike McMahon, the second Rutland pitcher of the afternoon, out there on the mound. And it hasn't been pretty. A 5-run first and a 5-run 6 really kind of put distance here for Brattleboro between Rutland and themselves, and another foul ball. See Carter kind of flexing his fingers as he took a lot of ball on the hand there. We'll wait and have the home base umpire do a little house cleaning here. He'll sweep off the plate, and again we hold at a 2-2 count with 1 down in the top of the 7th for Rutland. And when they come to the plate in the bottom of the 7th, they'll be back around to the top of the order. And that's going to be to Bloomer. You missed it, but Bloomer with a stab of a line drive for out number 2. Sorry about that. Great play, and I just didn't really get around on it. Now Kavanaugh up. Yeah, Kavanaugh walked in the first and scored, grounded out to second base Matt Merritt in the second, then struck out in the 4th and in the 6th. And now we have lefty against lefty, and that's going to be down to Matt Merritt. He'll stay down on the ball. And Rutland coming up, need 9 to tie it and 10 to win it. Starting pitcher Ryan Smith looking to close it out here and go the complete 7 innings. He's limited Rutland to 3 runs. Rutland's also hit into 2 double plays today. The Brattleboro defense has been very sharp. I'm looking through the book, and I am only seeing, even though I'm unofficial, just the 1 error. And that came on a drop third strike, and that's going to be Wagner to first. Got him. So Rutland down to 2 outs left in game number 1, and again, they got to regroup between games here because they have 1 chance left to qualify for the playoffs. Aaron Bloomer up. He is 0 for 2 today. He does have a walk in the 3rd where he eventually came around to score. And that breaking ball will drop over that. Again, the fastball really wasn't working on a consistent basis for Smith, and he made an adjustment, and he's featured probably 65-70% of the breaking stuff and spotted the fastball, made it much more effective, and he's had a strong go of it from the, starting in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th inning. He really dominated the game. He had a stretch of 9 in a row, retired. And yeah, he'll get him on the breaking ball there to commit on the check swing, go through with it, and it'll become a 1-2 count now. So Ryan Smith and Colby Bonnet remain the battery out there for Brattleboro Post 5. Getting only the 2 league losses throughout the year. He's trying to slide the curveball over on the outside corner, and it fell off the table too soon for him. And good eye by Bloomer, and he'll work it back to an even 2-2 count now. And Ryan Carter waits on deck. And he'll again just watch the pitch go by with a good eye and makes it a full count now. And he'll get that to second base. On the backhand attempt, it'll be hit out into center field off from the glove, so they'll have a runner on first base. I'm going to give him unofficially an error. They really took his time getting to the ball. Now Ryan Carter up. He is lined into a double play, flied out to right and grounded out to second. So Carter looking to get, well, on track. If it's too late for this game, at least get on track for the next game. And again, like I said, this is game one of a doubleheader. I have no idea who Rutland's going to pull out of the hat and throw for the second game. And Carter will watch that come in too low. Good eye there. Ball one. And so Brattleboro came in the top dog in the league, and that ball's hit a mile. That ball's hit a ton. Yeah, and he hit it up for a double as he hit it to the deepest portion of the field, and he'll be in, with a stand-up double to runners at second and third, almost an identical spot that he had the double against Bellows Falls. So Jeff Bloomer up with runners at second and third. Still just a one out. Well, they're going to give, I'd imagine, Ryan Smith a lot of rope here as far as his coach does in the dugout. Yeah, so Bloomer with two base hits today, two singles today. That came in the second and in the third. Then he popped up to the second baseman, Martell, his last at bat. Now he'll take that one right down the pipe for a 1-1 count. Got 12-3, make no mistake about it. Brattleboro, much sharper, much better team here in game number one. That, and they just seem to be a lot more confident, a lot more fired up than Rutland. Rutland was very... they didn't seem like a team that had to have a win in the pregame before the dugout. Foul ball for strike two. And Bloomer with Chad Ryan on deck. And that looks to be playable as they come in on it, and yep, they didn't communicate. They're lucky they didn't get hurt. The run's going to score, and again, very, very fortunate that Martell and Velasquez didn't get hurt, and not one word uttered between them as far as who had the ball, and that was the whole key to it. And none of the other outfielders talked to him, so they'll get a run. Bloomer will come in to score. Aaron Bloomer will come in to score. Carter will go to nowhere. He stayed at second, and Jeff Bloomer will be at first base on that little blooper. Now Chad Ryan up with 12-4 the score now. And again, Chad Ryan had a double in the second inning, RBI, and scored a run, and he looks at ball one right there, and that pitch came in below the knee. Yeah, so Carter didn't move from second and third because he had to make sure nobody was going to make the catch. And nice breaking ball there. It's just curved right in for a strike. Well, that'll put Mike Serino on deck for... Well, he's batting in Sorelli's spot, but it looks like Sorelli's come out on deck. And that could be a gapper. That could be a gapper. Nope, it's going to be chased down by Velasquez. Make the catch and get the ball in. So again, you can see the ability of that speed of Velasquez to track the ball and make the catch for the second out. I think that is Mike Sorelli. Yeah, Sorelli has re-entered the game now. Yeah, so Sorelli was 1 for 2, and then Serino hit in his spot in the order last time. So 2 outs now, 12-4 Brattleboro to lead bottom of the 7th, and Rutland one out away from every cliche you can imagine. Do or die, time to do it, all that stuff. Foul ball, strike 2. Yep, they'll come down to the final game of the regular season, and they have to have a win to get in the postseason. Well, that's not true. Even if they do lose the second game, there's a remote hope that tomorrow, when Bennington and Brattleboro play, Bennington would lose, which would put Rutland in the playoffs at the 4th seed. Man, tell you what, he held up on that one for a 1-2 count. So Ryan Smith to the set, looking for the complete game victory. We'll get it, and there's the tag, and they'll throw the ball down, and that's the ball game. Brattleboro with that 12-4 win over Rutland in 7 innings, and Ryan Smith went the distance. He will get the win. TJ Oliver will take the loss, and Rutland now in a must-win position to get into the playoffs. We'll try to regroup heading into game number 2.